Marcus didn't rush him. Over breakfast, Marcus asked one simple question. What do you want to do with your life, if everything was possible? Elijah stared at his plate. I want to help people like me, he said finally. The ones who fall through the cracks. Marcus nodded. Then let's start there. That afternoon, Marcus drove Elijah to a workforce center. Then to a nonprofit that helped with temporary housing. Then to a church that offered job referrals without judgment. Marcus didn't fix Elijah's life in one day, but he removed the weight just enough for Elijah to stand. And sometimes, that's all a person needs. Not everyone applauded Marcus's choice. When he told his girlfriend, Tasha, her face tightened. You let a homeless man stay in a motel on your money? She asked. Yes, Marcus replied calmly. Tasha crossed her arms. Marcus, you can't save everyone. I wasn't trying to save everyone, he said. Just one. At work, his supervisor warned him about missing overtime. You're falling behind, the man said. Personal distractions won't be tolerated. Bills piled up. Gas ran low. Marcus skipped meals some nights so Elijah wouldn't have to. Still, Marcus never complained. Because something inside him had changed. Helping Elijah reminded Marcus who he was before survival had hardened him. 3 weeks later, Elijah got a call. A non-profit outreach center needed an assistant. Temporary position. Minimum pay. Real hours. Elijah's hands shook as he accepted. His first paycheck wasn't much, but Elijah framed it. Not because of the money, but because it meant he mattered again. Elijah worked harder than anyone. Stayed late. Learned names. Listened to stories. People trusted him because he understood them. 6 months later, he was promoted. A year later, he was managing programs. And every time someone asked him how he got there, Elijah told the truth. A stranger didn't walk away. Then life tested them both. Marcus lost his job when the company downsized. No warning. No severance. Just a handshake and an email. Marcus sat in his car afterward, staring at the steering wheel. For the first time, fear whispered again. What if helping him ruined me? His phone buzzed. Elijah. I heard, Elijah said. Come by my place. Marcus hesitated. I don't want to. Please, Elijah said softly. Let me do for you what you did for me. That night, Marcus sat at Elijah's small apartment table, eating food Elijah cooked. And Marcus finally understood. Kindness doesn't disappear. It circles back. Elijah applied for college again. Social work. Scholarships came, because of his story, his grades, his impact. He spoke at community centers. Then conferences. Then universities. By 2025, Elijah Carter stood on a stage in front of thousands. Compassion is not weakness, he said into the microphone. It is courage in action. Marcus watched from the audience, eyes full. The homeless young man under the bridge was gone. In his place stood a leader. And the man who chose not to walk away realized something powerful. Helping Elijah didn't delay his destiny. It defined it. Success didn't arrive loudly. It crept in through responsibility. Elijah didn't wake up one morning and call himself a leader. People began to treat him like one long before he believed it himself. Wherever he worked, people listened. Wherever he spoke, doors opened. One evening after a community forum, a young woman approached him, tears in her eyes. I slept in my car for 3 months, she said. Nobody cared. But hearing you tonight, it made me stay. That night, Elijah couldn't sleep. He sat at his small desk, staring at the old notebook he once carried in his backpack under the bridge. He opened it again, for the first time in years. And he wrote one sentence. What if help didn't depend on luck? The next morning, Elijah called Marcus. I think I know what I'm supposed to build, Elijah said. Marcus smiled through the phone. Tell me. A bridge, Elijah replied, between falling and standing again. They called it the Bridge Project. Not a shelter. Not a charity handout. But a transition, temporary housing, job placement, therapy access, financial literacy, and dignity-first support. Marcus helped write the business structure. Elijah became the face. They worked from borrowed office space, folding chairs, donated laptops. Some nights, they slept there. People laughed at first. Another feel-good non-profit, critics said. But results silenced them. In 1 year, 112 people housed. 79 placed in full-time jobs. 46 reunited with family. 0 returned to the streets. Elijah insisted on one rule. We never talk down to people, he said. We talk with them. Word spread. Baltimore first. Then Philadelphia. Then Chicago. The call came on a Tuesday morning. A producer from a national network. We want Elijah Carter on our show, she said. Prime time. Elijah froze. Marcus laughed. Bro, you used to sleep under a bridge. And now, Marcus added, you are one. The interview went viral. Elijah didn't cry. He didn't boast. He told the truth. I didn't change my life, he said calmly. Someone refused to walk away from me. The hashtag trended for days. Hashtag don't walk away. Donations poured in. Partnerships followed. Global NGOs reached out. Invitations came from London, Toronto, Johannesburg. The Bridge Project went international. And that's when the pressure began. Growth attracts shadows. A new board member, Calvin Ross, joined, polished, well-connected, persuasive. Too persuasive. Marcus felt uneasy. Elijah, Marcus said one night, something about him feels off. Elijah hesitated. He helped us secure 3 grants. That doesn't mean he's clean. Elijah ignored the warning. 6 months later, the audit came. Funds missing. Documents altered. The media turned overnight. Was the story a lie? They asked. Did the homeless hero scam donors? Elijah stood before cameras again, but this time his hands shook. Marcus stood beside him. Silent. Steady. The board suspended Elijah pending investigation. Sponsors pulled out. Offices closed. Staff cried. Elijah packed his things into a box, again. History tried to repeat itself. He sat alone that night, staring at the city lights. I'm tired, Marcus, Elijah said. I don't know if I can fight again. Marcus leaned forward. Do you remember the night I met you? Elijah nodded. You had nothing, Marcus said. And you still chose hope. Marcus placed the old business card on the table, the same one he gave Elijah years ago. I didn't help you because I knew the outcome, Marcus said. I helped you because it was right. Silence filled the room. Then Elijah straightened his back. Then we fight with truth. Forensic accountants uncovered everything. Calvin Ross was arrested. The money trail was clear. So was Elijah's innocence. But something unexpected happened. People didn't just forgive. They stood up. Former clients testified. Workers marched. Donors returned, twice as strong. The Bridge Project reopened, with transparency stronger than before. Elijah returned, not as a symbol, but as proof. In late 2025, Elijah stood before the United Nations. His voice was calm, measured, powerful. Poverty is not a character flaw, he said. It's a circumstance, and circumstances can change. Delegates stood. Applause thundered. Marcus watched from the back. No cameras on him. No applause for him. And he smiled anyway. Years later, a young man sat under a bridge in another city. Cold. Invisible. Elijah stopped walking. He turned back. Sat down. Hey, Elijah said gently. You good? The young man looked up, just like Elijah once did. And somewhere in the world, a quiet truth echoed again. Don't walk away. Help. It may be your own life you save. After the United Nations speech, the world expected Elijah to become unreachable. They were wrong. Yes, his calendar filled quickly. Panels, interviews, policy meetings. But Elijah never let distance erase memory. He still carried the old notebook in his bag. Still paused when he saw people sleeping on sidewalks. Still answered calls at midnight. Back in Baltimore, the bridge project expanded into a full campus. Job training rooms, counseling offices, childcare support, and transitional apartments. But Elijah insisted on one thing. No marble floors, he told the architects. This place must feel human, not intimidating. Marcus now ran operations full-time. He had rebuilt his career quietly. Consulting, strategy, structure. No spotlight. No speeches. One evening, as they locked up the office, Marcus asked, "Do you ever get scared this could disappear again?" Elijah nodded. "Every day." Marcus smiled softly. "Good. It means you remember where you came from." One afternoon, Elijah received a handwritten letter. It was from a woman named Renee Thompson, a single mother who had completed the bridge project 2 years earlier. She wrote about her new job, her daughter's grades, her first savings account. Then she wrote one line that stopped Elijah cold. "I almost lost my child because I was homeless, but the system punished me for being poor instead of helping me stand." Elijah read the letter 3 times. That night, he drafted a policy proposal. Not emotional. Not dramatic. Just honest. Marcus helped refine it. Lawyers reviewed it. Advocates joined. Within a year, Baltimore passed a reform protecting parents from losing custody solely due to homelessness, paired with guaranteed support services. Renee attended the signing ceremony. She cried. Elijah didn't smile for the cameras. He looked at Marcus and whispered, "This is the work." At a university event in Atlanta, a student raised her hand. "If kindness is so powerful," she asked, "why doesn't everyone choose it?" The room went quiet. Elijah thought carefully. "Because kindness costs something," he said. "Time, comfort, pride, and sometimes security." He paused. "But indifference costs more." The room erupted in applause, but one man in the back stayed seated. After the event, that man approached. He wore a tailored suit and carried himself like power. "My name is Jonathan Reed," he said. "I invest in systems, not stories." Elijah met his eyes. "Then invest in results." Jonathan smiled slowly. "I think I will." Jonathan's investment changed everything. Not by making Elijah rich, but by scaling the mission responsibly. The bridge project became Bridge Network. Cities adopted the model. Governments partnered instead of resisting. Metrics replaced pity. Within 3 years, over 30,000 lives stabilized. 18 cities running bridge campuses. Recidivism into homelessness dropped by 64%. Elijah refused a salary increase twice. Marcus confronted him. "You can't pour from an empty cup," Marcus said. Elijah sighed. "I know. I'm learning." Growth required maturity, even in purpose. Burnout doesn't announce itself. It whispers. Elijah began forgetting meals, skipping rest, pushing through headaches. One morning, during a keynote speech, the room tilted. The microphone slipped from his hand. He collapsed. Marcus reached him before the crowd did. Hospital lights replaced stage lights. The doctor was firm. Stress-induced collapse. He needs rest. Elijah stared at the ceiling. "I don't know how to stop," he admitted. Marcus sat beside him. "Then let me carry it for a while." For the first time, Elijah let go. During Elijah's recovery, something beautiful happened. The system didn't fall apart. People stepped up. Former clients led programs. Staff made decisions. Communities protected the mission. Elijah watched from afar, humbled. He had built something that no longer depended on him. That realization brought tears. Not sadness. Freedom. At the reopening of the Baltimore campus, Elijah stood beside Marcus at a quiet ceremony. No press. No speeches. Just community. A plaque was unveiled. The Marcus Hill Transition Center in honor of the man who chose not to walk away. Marcus shook his head. I didn't do this for recognition. Elijah smiled. I know. That's why you deserve it. Marcus looked at the building, alive with movement, laughter, purpose. And for the first time, he understood. Some lives are changed loudly. Others change the world quietly. Years later, a young woman stood at a bus stop in Detroit. Jobless. Exhausted. Afraid. An outreach worker approached her, not with judgment, but with warmth. You don't have to do this alone, the worker said. The woman hesitated, then nodded. The chain continued. Elijah never forgot the bridge. Marcus never forgot the choice. And the world learned, slowly, imperfectly, that empathy is not weakness. It is action. It is courage. It is destiny rewritten. Don't walk away. Help. It may be your own life you save.